2025 is when Strange New Worlds must fully become Star Trek. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds has the opportunity to become the very definition of Star Trek on Paramount Plus in 2025. After a 2-year delay caused by the combined SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds Season 3 will finally premiere on Paramount Plus in 2025. Strange New Worlds returns to a drastically different landscape since Season 2 bowed out in 2023, as the prequel series about Captain Christopher Pike's Anson Mount USS Enterprise is now the only Star Trek on Paramount Plus series scheduled for 2025. The changing nature of the streaming business and the sale of Paramount Global to Skydance led to Paramount Plus ending 4 of the 5 Star Trek series that began with Star Trek: Discovery in 2017. Along with Discovery, Star Trek, Picard, Star Trek, Prodigy, and Star Trek: Lower Decks have all wrapped on Paramount Plus. However, along with Michelle Yeoh's Star Trek Section 31 streaming movie, Strange New Worlds benefits by having 2025 all to itself as the lone Star Trek series on Paramount Plus. With no other series sharing the Star Trek brand in 2025, Strange New Worlds can and should fully represent and embody Star Trek. Strange New Worlds must fully become Star Trek in 2025. In 2025, Paramount Plus has the prime opportunity to package and market Star Trek: Strange New Worlds as Star Trek. After all, there are no more competing series on the streamer this year. As the first Star Trek on Paramount Plus show that spawned spin-offs, including Strange New Worlds, Star Trek: Discovery was considered the flagship Star Trek series, and it set the tone for the franchise's cinematic and serialized modern style of television. Yet even before Star Trek: Discovery ended with Season 5, Strange New Worlds eclipsed it in audience and critical acclaim with a 98% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds now commands the spotlight without sharing it with Star Trek: Discovery's earnest progressiveness, Star Trek: Picard's heartwarming nostalgia, or animated Star Trek's dizzying inventiveness. As such, Paramount Plus must go on a marketing blitz to sell Strange New Worlds to the masses as the very embodiment of Star Trek. After all, Paramount Plus clearly believes in the show. The streamer gave an early green light to Strange New Worlds Season 4, which films in 2025, guaranteeing Captain Pike's Starship Enterprise crew will have more voyages in 2026. Not only is Star Trek: Strange New Worlds in an enviable position to become the literal face of Star Trek, but it's the right show for the job. Unlike other Star Trek series about new starships and crews, Strange New Worlds contains the enduringly popular iconography of Star Trek, the original series. For legions of Trekkies, Star Trek isn't truly Star Trek without the Starship Enterprise seeking out new life and new civilizations. Strange New Worlds USS Enterprise is the very same one Captain James T. Kirk William Shatner will one day command on his legendary 5-year mission. With its mix of characters from Star Trek's original pilot, The Cage, a growing crop of icons from Star Trek, the original series, and instantly beloved new faces like LT Layan Noonien Singh, Christina Chong, and LT Erica Ortegas, Melissa Navia, Strange New Worlds boasts the biggest names of 23rd century Star Trek. From its primary colored Starfleet uniforms to its classic technology like phasers and communicators, Strange New Worlds looks, sounds, and feels like Star Trek to the core, because it literally is Star Trek updated for the 21st century without breaking and reinventing the mold. In 2025, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds finds itself at a crossroads. The series, lauded for blending classic Trek ideals with a modern sensibility, has been a refreshing return to episodic storytelling, character-driven plots, and exploration of humanity's future. But as the show progresses, it faces a significant challenge. It must fully embrace the essence of Star Trek, a bold vision of exploration, hope, and intellectual curiosity, while pushing the franchise into new frontiers that resonate with the modern audience. For decades, Star Trek has stood as a cultural touchstone, defined by its optimistic vision of the future. It isn't just a science fiction franchise, it's a philosophy wrapped in entertainment. It dares to imagine a universe where humanity transcends its current limitations and seeks to understand rather than conquer. Strange New Worlds has already taken steps to honor this legacy, but in 2025, it must go further. The show must become the definitive bridge between the nostalgia of Star Trek's past and the bold, innovative storytelling required to carry it into the future. Returning to the core of Trek, at its heart, Star Trek has always been about exploration, not just of space, but of humanity itself. The series has thrived on presenting moral dilemmas, ethical quandaries, and examinations of identity. Strange New Worlds has dabbled in these themes, but 2025 must be the year it doubles down on the philosophical depth that defines Star Trek. Episodes like Balance of Terror from the original series and The Measure of a Man from the Next Generation weren't just great stories. They were cultural commentaries, asking the audience to wrestle with questions of prejudice, justice, and morality. Strange New Worlds has the potential to deliver this kind of storytelling with the added advantage of modern sensibilities. In an era rife with division and technological upheaval, the series can tackle topics like artificial intelligence ethics, climate change, and the politics of unity versus isolationism. These issues are not just timely, they are quintessentially Star Trek. Evolving the characters and their journeys, Captain Christopher Pike, as portrayed by Anson Mount, is already a compelling figure, a leader burdened by the knowledge of his tragic fate yet determined to serve with integrity and compassion. His character embodies the best of Star Trek's ethos, but 2025 is the time to deepen his story. How does Pike reconcile his sense of duty with the inevitability of his future? How does he inspire his crew, knowing what lies ahead? Similarly, Spock, Number 1, Una Chin Riley, and other key characters must evolve in meaningful ways. Spock, in particular, offers fertile ground for exploration. The series has already delved into his struggle with his Vulcan and human duality, but it can push further, exploring how his identity shapes his relationships and decisions. These character arcs should be intertwined with larger, thought-provoking stories that force them, and the audience, to confront profound questions about existence and purpose. Embracing risks and innovation, to fully realize its potential, Strange New Worlds cannot merely be a nostalgic homage to past Star Trek. It must embrace risks and innovate in ways that feel organic yet daring. The show's episodic format is a strength, but it should be leveraged to experiment with diverse storytelling techniques. Imagine an episode told entirely from the perspective of an alien species, with the Enterprise crew as outsiders. Or a narrative that unfolds non-linearly, challenging viewers to piece together its deeper meaning. Moreover, Strange New Worlds should embrace diversity not just in its casting, but in the stories it tells. Star Trek has always been at its best when it reflects the world's complexity, showcasing different cultures, ideologies, and perspectives. By telling stories that celebrate differences while finding common ground, the series can reinforce the hopeful vision of a united future. Aesthetics and world building. While story and character take precedence, the visual and world-building elements of Strange New Worlds are equally critical. The series has already demonstrated a keen eye for stunning visuals, but 2025 should see it doubling down on imaginative alien worlds and futuristic technologies. The show should invite the audience to marvel at the universe's possibilities, presenting strange new worlds that are not just backdrops but integral to the storytelling. Furthermore, the series must honor Star Trek's long tradition of optimistic futurism. The Federation represents humanity's highest ideals, a society built on cooperation, knowledge, and exploration. In a world increasingly cynical about the future, Strange New Worlds must dare to portray a utopia worth striving for, even as it acknowledges the challenges in achieving it. The stakes for the franchise. Strange New Worlds can ensure that Star Trek remains a beacon of inspiration for generations to come. Something truly timeless. 2025 is the year it can and must make that journey.